Coming up on today's show, we have closures happening and also have a few news stories that we need to catch up on. That's coming up on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 497 of Traveling with the Mouse. My name is John, and I am here, as always, with my co-host, Adam.
Boo. What's up, everybody?
What's up to you, too?
Yeah.
I think everything is fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's all good. Lots happening.
A lot's happening. Are we talking about Disney?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is all we talk about. Well, mostly Disney, although that line is no longer valid anymore.
What line's no longer valid?
Our tribute to all of our travels, but mostly Disney.
Yes, something like that.
Anyway.
So we spent last week doing Trip Report, just did a couple of news stories. So we have a lot to discuss this week.
Yeah.
Not going to start off too big. We're going to build up a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to kind of go in order.
Right.
Large trees removed from Walt Disney Dreamers Point to improve the view from Geo 82, which is kind of interesting because they had relatively young trees there for the most part, and now they're removing them.
Not surprising.
For a better viewing area.
If you're paying $25 for a cocktail, then you want a good view. So,
well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're definitely they're doing this because of the price point that they set.
Yeah.
Not because they were being,
gosh,
generous.
What were they charging for the fireworks thing? I forgot. It was like $200 or something.
Yeah, it was expensive.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
somewhere in that ballpark.
Somewhere.
Yeah. So you want a clear view of those fireworks. So
yeah. And so there's no more shade.
Right. Like, Walt's statue was in the way, so we just removed it.
Probably. If they made a big enough Walt statue.
Right.
Instead of a life-size one.
But that's the kind of things they would do for money. Is that what we're trying to say?
Maybe. For sake of money, honey.
Because they're not going to have trouble filling this lounge. Because I've, looked at the pictures. It does look really cool, but it is not cheap.
Disney Vacation Club, a new Disney Vacation Club policy. This is one that we could talk about possibly for a moment. It'd be probably a little better if we had our resident Disney Vacation Club member here, but it says the policy aims to crack down on commercial renting, basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. If you see a lot of people buy points just to rent them out for profit, I guess. So
there's a disclaimer with the new changes in which the members need to check a box that states the reservation is being made for personal use only. I still don't see how that could affect things other than them checking, because them checking a box still doesn't change like laws regarding, I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that one out.
It may be more to scare people away from trying to rent their points out. Just the thought of it, like, oh, shoot, I might violate my contract or something.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it says you can allow friends and family to use the reservation on occasion. Disney does not really define what commercial purposes are.
Yeah.
Well, here's an excerpt from it. Here's the relevant part of the language. It says, you agree that any reservations made under your membership are solely for personal use and not for commercial purposes, as required by governing documents for each DVC resort, including but not limited to the Declaration of Condominium and Membership Agreement. Disney Vacation Club, or DVCM, reserves the right to interpret personal use and determine if reservations are booked for personal commercial purposes in its sole discretion. Personal use may include enjoying the benefits of a DVC membership with family or allowing use of any reserved vacation home to friends and family on occasion. Additionally, personal use means that the member does not regularly or frequently rent/sell reservations booked using their membership.
Yeah. It sounds to me like it's trying to get the people who just buy points for the purpose of reselling them.
Which I don't know that there's really that many people out there that's doing it just for the purpose of. I feel like a lot of times people have these points. They're not going to use them for the years out. Yeah, they're not going to use them for the years out, and so they rent them out. I mean, I don't think there's... Yeah, I really don't think that there's a huge like market out there of people that are doing it solely for commercial reasons. I could be wrong. I mean, there's more people trying to scam people than there is trying to
Yeah.
legitimately do it. Like they don't even have the membership and they're selling points basically. So
I was looking at David's DVC rentals.
see if they changed anything.
Just to see, but they don't even mention it. So I think they're just trying to ignore it.
Yeah, maybe they don't think it's a big deal yet. Not for their business model anyway. So
we'll see. But
they're one of the more well-known ones, but they're also well-known because you can trust the reservations through them.
Right.
If you're trying to get them through like message boards and stuff like that nowadays, there's just too many people just trying to screw you over. There's probably not even really members, most of them.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm looking at DVC rental store. I don't see anything specific there. So we'll see.
Did you get a look at the new test track sign, the new marquee?
Yes, and the walls have come down, but they have bushes up, of course. But yes. So it looks like it's getting closer, but still no date yet, which I'm curious why. But the new sign looks cool, and the new awning or whatever. It looks like a disc going into a DVD player or like R2D2 or something.
Looks almost like something alien. It makes it look a little bit like a giant Roomba.
That's what I was, like a Roomba or something with like a
in the artwork at least it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So we're being sucked into Test Track 3.0.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think, how much difference is the new sign versus the old sign? I mean, obviously it's back to being presented by General Motors and not Chevrolet, right?
Or is that the
other way around?
I think it's Chevrolet versus GM. Yeah.
No, wait a minute. I thought it was Chevrolet this last time. See, this new sign looks like it says presented by General Motors. Yes, the new sign says General Motors again.
So is I don't know. Keeps going back and forth then.
But yet the artwork shows by Chevrolet. I guess someone made an assumption there.
Yeah, the concept art may have changed then.
But as you can clearly see, the sign with the construction worker says General Motors.
Yeah.
Presented by GM. Anyway, I'm trying to think of just how different it looked from the previous one. It doesn't look that different, does it? I mean, it still had the blue versus the original yellow and orange and gray or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, if you put the two side by side, presented by Chevrolet versus I mean, it has some similarities.
Yeah, so they've changed it. I like it, though. It looks good.
I think it's like this because it suggests that there's not going to be Tron track. I think all that's going to be gone.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this, but they've started releasing dates for everything, closures and stuff. So I'm like, we have the date for the new nighttime parade. So when is this opening? Do they?
I've heard that they're not as ready as they originally thought they would be. Yeah. Or with the testing maybe. So
could also be that they don't want to get burned with setting an opening date because of what happened originally. Like, anyway.
With this attraction, you mean it opened like, I don't know, almost 2 years later?
Yeah. So I didn't want to jinx it, I guess, is what I was trying to say.
I remember being there. We actually visited Horizons for probably the last time. Could have been. I think it was.
97?
Yeah. But, you could walk up there and see Test Track, and I think they had testing going then, actually. They had some cars going.
Yeah, I felt like I remember that.
It had a sign that said, like, opening...
Something 97, didn't it?
Opening in June or something like that. Yeah. 97. They're like, okay. We ended up opening January, I think, of 99.
Yeah.
So... Right.
Yeah. I wonder if they've upgraded anything again, because Radiator Springs Racers probably works better than Test Track, so can't they just upgrade to whatever system they use for that ride? And
perhaps. I don't know. Is it really that much more functional, this Radiator Springs?
I'm assuming it is. You don't hear about it as much.
Doesn't get the reputation, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Radiator Springs probably has some more complexity than Test Track, but anyway.
If you combine the inside elements, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
So we finally got news on the closing dates, as we were talking about in the open, for Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America. So the final day of operation will be July the 6th. So that's when that's going to be the last day. And then I'm sure almost immediately after they'll start draining the swamp. Oh, excuse me, draining the rivers of America.
Yeah.
And it demolished along with Tom Sawyer Island. So it'd be interesting to see how they take apart Tom Sawyer Island, because that seems like that'd be quite a project.
Yeah. That's the last day that the rafts will be a ride.
Yep. That will be the end, and it's not long. It's less than a month. So if you want to see Tom Sawyer Island for the first time or for the last time,
yeah,
you're going to have to do it before July the 6th, or at least the Walt Disney World version. There's still going to be one out in California if you want to venture out to Disneyland. So,
yeah. A couple of things. They haven't mentioned what they're going to do with the Lily Bell. It would be cool if maybe they used it as a ferry for the Magic Kingdom or something, because I'd hate for them to just get rid of it completely, like destroy it,
mm-hmm.
And looking at the aerial views, we haven't talked about the next part, I guess, of what it's going to turn into, but I imagine they'll start with sort of the back side of Rivers of America, filling it in and whatever, before they get to the part that everybody sees.
Perhaps. They may have already started on some of this, for all we know, the parts we can't see. I don't know how new this particular photo I'm looking at is. It kind of looks like it's been since the Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but that's been almost a year now, right? So
yeah. Well, no, they've already cleared a lot of land behind where they store the electric water pageant boats, a lot of those trees are already gone. So they're cleared that land as a staging area and all that.
That area is nowhere near what we're talking about, though. What do you mean?
Well, if you look at some of the other news stories, that area is the staging area for the Rivers of America.
Just looking at this photo, I didn't really think about how close the show building for Splash is to the water pageant. I mean,
yeah,
it's not that far
and
away.
Pirates. Yeah, it's closer to Pirates than you think, too.
Yeah. Like when we look and see it through that canal, like it's not like far away from seeing an attraction. It's kind of never thought of it that way before because of all the shrubbery, of course, and the way it's hidden, like as it should be.
Right.
So as a part of this, they did announce that since we're still talking about Rivers of America here, they did announce that the railroad would actually not close during this time period. The railroad will be in what they call shuttle mode for years, is the way they put it.
Yeah, most likely.
Basically skipping Frontierland during the upcoming construction.
Why, though? Given the location.
Yeah, but it's not experiencing any downtime, so that's the good thing.
I guess they'll have to put up walls, probably, because I'm assuming Villain's Land will be being constructed around the same time.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they have to shut down the Frontierland station, though, because it's basically Big Thunder's going to reopen next year, and Tiana's will be right there. So it's like, why do you have to shut down that one? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Good point.
I don't get it, but
it doesn't make sense.
I mean, Tiana's is going to be open, so if you want, because we use that a lot from Main Street to get to Tiana's quickly, just hop on the train there,
and get off. Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know. I don't get why you have to.
I kind of don't get it either, because the parts that they're going to be working on the most are not going to be. They're not involved in a stop, so to speak. So,
yeah, it does make you wonder: would they add a stop, or maybe are they going to change anything in the future when like Villains Land? Are they going to have like a Villains Land stop? That'd be interesting.
Might. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe they're going to do away with the Frontierland stop altogether.
Maybe,
make a new stop.
Perhaps, yeah.
So as this has come and gone, but they did extend the hours for Muppet Vision on its final day.
Of course.
It's kind of sad that it's done with, but I mean, we do know that they're going to be involved again in the future.
Yeah. Sad that it's closed finally because we knew it was coming for a while, but
Yeah. There was one part in there that I guess I just missed over the years, but there was one where they have like one of those clipboards or whatever where you do like scene 1, take 2 or something like that. And one of them, it was on the clip, it had take, and underneath it said, "My wife, please," or something like that. Or I can't remember.
oh, really?
Yes.
That's funny.
Yes.
Like in the queue? I didn't notice that.
Yes. Yes, it was in
That's
there.
funny. There's lots of details there.
Yes. Including a photo or a mural, like a painting. If you had, well, I can't go look now, but if you had looked hard enough, you could find one of Jim Henson himself as a Muppet in there.
Yes, right.
So,
Yes, I have seen that one.
so I guess you didn't make it to Geo82's opening day.
I did not.
Okay. And get your complimentary wine glasses offered to guests on opening day. Missed out on that one.
Yeah, but now they're selling, I think, for $35 or something.
Possibly. I don't know. I'm surely they were not going to just pass up that opportunity to make money on it. I mean, come on.
Right, exactly.
I
mean, it looks like a cool place. I also didn't get those Spaceship Earth Mickey popcorn buckets, which I didn't really like the way those looked, but
yeah, that one actually kind of
went crazy
reminds
for
me
those.
of like they were going for an Oswald
Yeah, it looks
as Spaceship
or
Earth.
the Mickey balloons when they start to run out of helium.
Yeah, a little bit. They start to look a little like that.
Right. Yeah.
When Mickey starts to deflate.
Exactly. Yeah.
When he starts to droop. as things do over time. Anyway.
Yes. Gravity takes its toll.
Yes.
As it does all of us.
So they have an exclusive bourbon flight apparently at Geo82.
Yeah.
I am saying it right, aren't I? Not GEO, but Geo, like Geosphere.
Yeah.
That's what I would think.
I would say.
So it's available for $49. And looks as though it's 4 different types in a glass. Yeah.
It looks good.
So they have 4 different ones if you're a bourbon lover.
I mean, that's not the most unreasonable price either.
I guess not.
For a flight.
For what it is.
Assuming they're high quality.
An exclusive pass holder meet and greet is coming to Epcot for the first time ever.
Yeah, which one?
Have you heard about this? It says a popular Disney character will be at Der Teddy Bear in the Germany Pavilion from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. from June 9th through July 31st. It's part of the VI pass holder Summer Days activation.
Yeah.
So
it's probably it's kind of like the Chase Visa one where you never really know who you're going to get, but it's going to be
it's like Forrest Gump and the box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Exactly. You never know what meet and greet.
Right. So Imagineering files the permit for the upcoming Buzz Lightyear attraction overhaul. So that one's
actually it says it's dopey. Sorry, going back to that.
There's it says it's dopey.
They revealed it's dopey. Yeah.
My bad. I must have missed that part of it. So it's dopey.
See some.
Yeah. So they filed the permit for the Buzz Lightyear attraction overhaul, which we talked about that in a recent episode. So if you want to catch up on that, you can go back and listen to that episode. It's official, so it's going to be closing in August. So they're going to get you through the summer before closing old Buzz.
Yeah.
And speaking of Buzz, the Spaceship Earth Lounge Geo82 that we were just talking about has a premium experience with a premium price tag. So you could say it's a premium Buzz with a premium price tag. Yes, as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, most everything's pretty pricey.
Here's the adults only lounge. It's got menu and prices. Some of them, at least, anyway. The beer selections are from $8.25 to $11.25, which doesn't really sound that bad.
Yeah, that's about standard, which is pretty good.
Some of the drinks are caramelized leek martinis, $26.
Yeah.
Brown butter
Old-fashioned.
old fashions, 28.
That's the most expensive I recall, by the way.
Oh yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. Clarified New York sour, 26. Strawberry and coconut right hand, 25. Peach shrub whiskey smash, 26. Goes on and on. The food, though, the most expensive thing on the menu appears to be the chef's selection of artisanal cheeses, cured meats, and accompaniments. $29. Wonder how many that
Which
feeds.
I saw the picture of it. It's not as big as you'd think for that price tag. Because you can get one for like $12 now at Baseline Tap House.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably has the same amount of food on it for like $12. So
I feel like this is one of those things that a lot of people are going to want to have, like, said that they've checked it off their list, but I don't know if it's going to be as popular as they had hoped. I could be wrong.
yeah, I mean, I would go for the atmosphere once or twice, but obviously being adults only, I don't know how I would do this because I usually
Right.
go with my kids. So
How would you
can't
do
just,
this on a regular basis, right? Yeah.
I would just tell them to ride Spaceship Earth over and over again.
I do like
While
the
I
fact that,
no,
just kidding.
right.
I do like the fact that a lot of the decor that they put in there looks very Spaceship Earth-esque.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the ice cube on the old fashioned has a Spaceship Earth imprinted on the ice cube. That's pretty cool.
there you go. Yeah.
That's worth the $28 right there.
Out of those that it
Hardly.
listed there, I would say the most appealing one is probably the brown butter old fashioned.
That's the one I'd go for sure.
Yeah.
But when I see the beer selection, you got Miller, Yingling, Modelo, like, I would go for one of the others. So the $11 price tag is not great for like you're paying 11 for a Miller. Like, no thanks.
Well, they
But
do have an
maybe the
IPA there.
Bell's, yeah, the
Yeah.
Bell's Two-Hearted one is probably the one I would go with.
IPA is usually a way to go.
Yeah, indeed. But I mean, what I'm saying is, one you can just get at any grocery store. I wouldn't pay $11.25 for, but something
Some
that's
people
a
would.
craft beer or something, I would choose that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do. By the way, it's crazy to me to see that. Like, you're getting a Coors Light and you're paying $12 for it. You might as well pay, $12 for something that you've never tried before, at least, something crafty.
Let's toss in
Anyway.
a little bit of West Coast news here.
Yeah, there was some big news there.
Avatar Destination is to replace a portion of the Hollywood backlot at Disney's California Adventure. I'd even forgotten that Disney's California Adventure had a Hollywood backlot. That's so just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's pretty obvious what Disney's doing, and we'll get to this when we talk about the other big story at Disney World, but I was looking into this area. It's kind of where the monorail goes through, partially.
Yes.
So I'm like, are they going to have a monorail in? Or are they going to put like floating mountains around the monorail to like hide it? Like,
I feel like they'll block it. Yeah, they'll find a good way to block it. It says as a result of this work, though, this is interesting. The Monsters Inc. ride will close permanently in early 2026.
does that mean they're going to move it to Florida as part of Monsters Inc. land? Like, make a secondary ride to the coaster? I don't know.
Maybe their thought is they're building this new attraction of Monsters Inc. out on the East
Florida.
Coast.
So they've
had the Mike and Sully's To the Rescue has been there quite some time. I mean, didn't it take over that failed, what was it? The one with all the
Superstar
Hollywood
limo
stars
or
in it.
something?
Yeah. Didn't it take over that? I think that's where the Superstar limo was. So basically, they took over for that failed attraction. So it's been there, ever since Monsters Inc.'s been out, pretty much, just about.
Yeah.
So it's been there quite a while. Maybe they figure they don't need one on each coast. I don't know. Plus, I think that ride's probably not as popular.
Yeah. I'm looking right now. It's a 35-minute wait at Disneyland, at DCA, I mean.
Oh, wow. Well, better than I would have thought at this. Well, I guess because it's summertime, though, a little bit.
Yeah. Well, as a comparison, Radiator Springs Racers is only 40-minute standby. 30 for Incredicoaster. So
not too bad all around.
So for some reason that has a higher weight than like anything except Guardians Mission Breakout. So it's interesting. Anyway, so maybe it's more popular than we thought, but I didn't think that ride. I thought it was good for like a dark
Mhm.
ride, but I never thought it was like, oh, this is like nothing really was like stunning about it, from what I recalled.
Well, I mean, I thought it was neat.
I think though maybe they're gonna either repurpose some of the animatronics in Florida. I mean, it would make sense to me to move some of these out to Florida if they're building whole land, right?
Very possibly. It might be the whole reason why they're closing it.
Yeah, just so they don't have to
Since they're
build more animatronics. Just repurpose them.
well, that and they already had the Avatar for the West Coast in mind.
Yeah. Which I
So,
do. This does make me wonder, like, is Avatar that popular to where they need a land and 2 parks? Because,
I'm gonna say no.
yeah,
My feelings on that is that Flight of Passage was popular or is popular because of how well it was done more so than the subject matter. Like you
yeah,
probably could have taken any subject matter and done it to that degree,
no,
and people would have been lining up for it the way they did and still do.
yeah,
I don't think it's the IP per se.
that's the
They
fly.
probably they probably see that in their merchandise sales because I haven't heard anything like earth shattering regarding merchandise sales for
Yeah.
Pandora or
Right,
Flight
you
of
walk
Passage for that matter.
through Wind Traders out of Flyer Passes, everyone just walks straight through there. Like, very
They're
few people, like, buy stuff out of there, but
right. I mean, it's a niche audience. It really
yeah,
is
right.
for Avatar. So
And I do think that, Pandora is very underutilized. Like, there was so much more potential for the land when it first opened that they just sort of just left it. Like, they had the drum show, they had the guy with the robot suit out. Like, they were gonna do a whole lot more stuff.
yeah, they've kind
And
of
now it's
faded as far as to what they do over there, right? It's like
yeah,
it's just a place that houses 2 attractions.
yeah. It's a cool land, but there's really nothing to do there except there's a great restaurant and 1 great ride and 1 okay ride.
I
But the
mean, yeah,
theming is great. But again,
yes, it's a well-themed area. It has
it's
2 attractions.
underutilized.
It has one of the best quick service on property. Yeah.
Probably the best, arguably.
Yeah, it's definitely it's one of the
Consistently.
it's one of the few places you could get, what was it, Mr. Pibb, I think?
That's true.
So,
And it's one of the few places you don't have a limitation on the soda machine.
yeah. Well, that's part of
So,
the non-limitation there. It was one of the I was the first place that I recalled coming across that you could get a Dr. Pepper option, basically.
yeah.
So,
But you could get a cup of water and put Mr. Pibb in it because there's no restriction on what you can get. So,
right.
anyway.
So there you go. All right. So also out west, the Coco attraction will be located near Pixar Pier and Paradise Gardens.
I'm curious, though, what other details they have on this because it's like clearly they're not doing this in Mexico at Epcot. So, I guess whatever they had, they're putting in California.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe their intentions were that the movie was a little more popular in that section of the country, or maybe they're just trying to split things up, spread things out. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be very easy to convert the Grand Fiesta Tour into something Coco related. It would be like a very short turnaround to like do that. But anyway,
It does say that they're drawing inspiration from the classics like Haunted Mansion and Pirates, so that's a good sign.
yeah,
I would like for them to draw that inspiration for something all new and original and not an IP, but that's probably never going to happen again. So even though
long
I
under
keep
this,
saying, and I keep holding out hope,
yeah,
that an original idea makes its way to the parks.
right. It won't be under anger.
I won't hold my breath.
More Disneyland, right? The
A new parking garage and transportation hub, which I don't know exactly. There's not a whole lot
they're gonna get a TTC
to that so far. Do they really need one? I mean, unless they manage to get some land and build a couple of miles away,
Yeah.
there's no need for a TTC.
But they
So,
definitely, parking is always
right.
somewhat of an issue there. I mean,
Could always use an overhaul. Yeah. The oversight district is to issue $175 million in new bonds for the extremely busy development of Walt Disney World.
yeah.
So,
I mean, there's construction projects popping up everywhere that were unannounced, you know. Obviously, at D23, you're not going to be like, the Polynesia's getting a new entrance, you know, or we're going to repave the parking lot at Pop Century. But all of these little projects are coming up everywhere. So you can see, like, Buzz Lightyear is a good example of something that just sort of came out of nowhere. They're like, we need to do this. It's been too long that they just let it sit as is. So they're finally doing stuff about it. So clearly this turbocharging is part of that.
yeah. Something that broke just recently. Well, I don't mean something like news that broke.
Oh, okay.
No,
Some
no,
ride
no,
that broke? Oh.
no, the monorail
Oh.
didn't break, nothing like that.
Oh.
Rock and Roller Coaster is going to make it all the way through this year because the Muppets aren't going to debut until 2026.
So it's good to know.
Aerosmith's going to remain open through the end of 2025. So it's definitely going to be open for the remainder of the year if you want to get an opportunity to ride Rockin' at least once more before time is out.
Yeah. That's good news.
Yes.
But it's also necessary because Hollywood Studios just lost an attraction and they're going to have to lose this one for at least a few months. I don't think it would take long for them to switch it over to Muppets, but
right.
A couple months at least.
Hollywood Studios, man, it's just like, it doesn't even feel like the same place. It's totally different now.
Yeah, there's a few little pockets here and there that they're dwindling of what it used to be.
I mean, I think the Indiana Jones stunt show is pretty much it, right, at this point. It's been untouched.
Right.
Well, never mind. It hasn't been completely untouched.
Right.
But mostly untouched.
And the fact that they're moving Indy to Animal Kingdom means that, you know, to me, it would make sense to make like a mini Indiana Jones land at Hollywood Studios and put the ride where the show is. But maybe the show will last longer than anything else original at Hollywood Studios.
See, once they make the Indy ride over there in Dino Land, they're going to bring the stunt show to the theater that used to be Nemo.
Nemo,
right? That's what
an indoor theater for Indy.
Yes,
they'd
for
have to
Indy.
change it to, and they're going to model it around the Dial of Destiny just to make everyone not want to see this.
Yeah, really. No, they're going to make it around. Yes, the Crystal Skull is going to be the stunts.
Yeah. Just to guarantee that it'll close in like a year and a half. Wow.
Yeah. Moving along, Astro Orbiter has been fully rebuilt. The planets have returned. They're a little more vibrant. They've been repainted.
They haven't been destroyed by the Florida sun yet.
Yep, not yet. But the testing for a summer reopening, who knows at what point this time yet, but I would hope one of the things they did was expand the vehicles somehow.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
I would hope that's one of the things that they did. We don't know yet, though. But the planets look nice and shiny that they put on there.
Yeah.
So
you can see that, the ride structure is there, but you can't see any ride vehicles yet. So,
right.
Interesting to see if they've put them on yet.
I would say it's likely, it's not been announced, but it's likely that it's going to be there in time for Buzz to close because you don't want to have too many attractions closed in Tomorrowland, right? So,
yeah. What they should have done, though, while they were doing this is cover the queue for Astro Orbiter better and add Lightning Lane to this. I don't know why they have not done that.
I don't know how you would add Lightning Lane. I'm sure there's something they could come up with.
Add a separate line that goes straight to the elevator.
Maybe.
I mean, they add like a second entrance that has a very short line in front of the elevator, because isn't there 2 elevators, if I'm remembering correctly, or is there only 1?
There should be 2 elevators. I think there is.
Or is 1 for going up and 1's for down, though, right? I think.
Or maybe that is it. Yeah, you're right. It might be it. Actually, I thought it was two elevators that went the
maybe either way,
same direction.
So, I mean, that's what I was saying, is make 1 a lightning lane elevator and then the other a standby one. I just feel like Magic Kingdom should have everything lightning lane that you could possibly have.
Right.
So, I mean, if Speedway has a lightning lane, then this should have one. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well,
right.
There you go. Well,
if you're paying for it.
It's not the only one that doesn't have a lightning lane, is it? At this point,
Carousel of Progress doesn't. But
and well, wait a minute. Neither does People Mover.
Yeah, People Mover, you barely would need it, but Astro River gets a line, but I'd say it gets more of a line than any of the other spinners, Magic Kingdom.
And with it being redone, it could prove to be popular out the gate, right?
Yeah. So add lightning lane. They probably won't.
As mentioned over the weekend.
Yeah.
Muppets went for the final time.
Yeah. Last show.
For those of us that appreciate the humor.
Yeah.
That was in Muppet Vision 3D. I'm sure, I mean, I saw a very good video of it on TPM Vids did one that was really good, I thought. And there's some other good ones out there. There was somebody who did a version where they had like in a small screen in the bottom right, it had the regular part of the attraction, but they apparently had focused in on just Stadler and Waldorf and just did their parts, what they looked like while the other stuff was going on, right? So, yeah, pretty cool. And I actually got to catch, I think for the first time ever, just because I never looked early enough, how that effect with the arrows works. Because they're really just retracted up in there, and you can't hardly even see that they're in there, but they just protrude back out whenever it is appropriately timed.
Yeah. I wonder, for this attraction, one of the reasons why it closed possibly is because you do have to have a live actor as part of the show every showing.
I don't think they had anything to do with it. I think they planned on doing this no matter what people thought. And
well, sure. I just wonder if it was more expensive than, say, PhilharMagic, because you have a live actor involved every time.
Well, I mean, you have Donald having to fall back there through the...
Okay, that's really Donald? Yeah.
That's somebody in a suit. Do you know that?
Yeah. We have to fake Donald every time to be a part of the show.
Yes. Being launched into the back up there.
Right. Well, the chef has to shoot the screen they have to destroy the theater and rebuild it between every show.
Like every 5 minutes.
So it is expensive. I understand, guys.
So, yeah, I guess that is a pretty expensive show if you have the theater destroyed and rebuilt every time they do the show. How many times a day?
A lot.
Well, Muppets has been removed from the digital map, and now it looks like it's nothing but shrubbery. Even though that's not the case in real life. It is blocked off, though, so you can't walk over there anymore. It's all done. Muppet Courtyard is no more.
Sadness. So, understandable, though. You can tell all the changes Disney's making in California Adventure, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, all the recent changes. I guarantee you they're looking at your Magic Band, how they track guest flow throughout the park, and going, there's not a lot of guests going over to Muppet's Courtyard. So let's do something to that area to get more guests in there. Utilize every corner of the park. And Tom Sawyer Island, if you look at it from a satellite map and the Rivers of America, it's a gigantic piece of land that not a lot of guests do. Like, not a lot of guests do the riverboat every day comparatively to the size of the land that it's on.
The size?
Yeah. And Tom Sawyer Island, it's hard to get to because of the ride you have to use to get to it. But I mean, only a certain number of guests, what was it, 50 or something per raft, something like that. So not a lot of guests can even get there in a day
Mhm.
because it's short hours too. So it's like you can understand why they're doing this because they're taking every area of the parks that aren't that heavily visited and they're completely redoing something to get more guests in there. So, isn't that what they're doing?
Maybe, perhaps.
That's it.
That's it. There it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you look at Dino Land, you know, probably the least visited part of Animal Kingdom, especially the Triceratops spin area. And then Muppets Courtyard, that whole area back where Mama Melrose's is, there's nothing back there. So why would anybody go back there unless you're going to eat?
There's nothing back there
So,
now other
well,
than well, there was nothing back there other than
right,
Mama Melrose's, but
right. The exit of Muppet Vision, that was the only thing that anybody was ever back there for. So it's just nothing. Now there's going to be a big ride back there, an e-ticket that everyone's going to be rushing back there for. So that's why they're doing it.
so this was a bit of an interesting one in the sense
Yeah.
that Disney opened the lobby for the Hall of Presidents, but the
Yeah.
attraction still is closed.
I mean,
It's not exactly clear what they're doing here, unless they're just giving people a place to get away from the
escape the
heat.
heat. Right. I think it was
Potentially.
100 degrees today.
Mm,
The day we're recording this, from what I saw a few people say, it was
really?
like 99 degrees Fahrenheit. So,
Mm.
yeah, that's probably why they're doing it. Some air conditioning to cool people off.
Well, it says any signage mentioning the refurbishment's not there as well,
Yeah.
but there's no showtimes posted. The webpage says it is closed for refurbishment. Will reopen later this year.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what's funny to me is they haven't changed anything. Like, they haven't just gotten rid of Liberty Square altogether as a land because a lot of guests flow through there. And the one attraction really that's there, Haunted Mansion, is popular. So, and the restaurants there are very popular too. They're constantly busy. So that's probably why they haven't touched Liberty Square. But I'm surprised they haven't changed this to like maybe after the new area comes around, they'll modify this.
maybe. I mean, I don't know. It seems that the building's been turned back over to park operations, though. Like the Imagineering is done,
Yeah.
but yet they still haven't. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they'll quietly reopen it to like so there won't be a bunch of fanfare or anything. If they announce a date, then people will show up just to like disrupt the show or something.
I would feel like, I mean, this
Mm.
show over the years has still, been a pretty good people eater for the most part. I mean, there's enough people usually that go in there and, see the show. It's not
Mm.
it's never been
What
really
could they
one of
do
my
with this
favorites.
building though if they decided to change it completely? I mean, it's a theater, so you can't really put a ride in there.
No, I don't think that would change it.
Don't
It
need
just
another
isn't.
restaurant there because you've got restaurants on either side of it, essentially.
Uh, I just don't see anything that would change it to for from, I don't see any changes being made there,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean,
You don't need another theater show, so might as well
yeah,
reopen it, which they, like I said, they probably will. They're just not gonna
yeah,
announce the date.
right.
Just quietly reopen it. That'd be my guess.
As we were talking about earlier, the 18-acre land clearing continues
Yep.
as the American Rivers of America are, that closing date's near.
Yeah, 1 month away.
Didn't we get a name? We got a name for the
The land or
attraction,
the
didn't we, or the land?
Piston Peak National Park.
Yes, Piston Peak National Park. Yes,
He did what on his peak?
right. Piston
Mm,
Peak.
Everyone's
Peak.
gonna say that.
I said Piston Pete. Piston Peak.
Pickaxe Pete. All right.
Yes, I do remember that. On the
Anyway,
Odyssey console, that was a popular one, I'm sure.
right.
So yeah, but yeah, I don't know how well this is being received. I guess we'll have to see when it's all said and done.
I would say mostly negative, but some positive. I'd say once they put out this most recent concept art, it was better received, it seems like, from what I read. So,
Well, it seems as though I think people are kind of saying things like, who wanted a different environment, Cars attraction that's outside of the stuff they know,
yeah.
So, or maybe maybe the idea is that this attraction, that this concept is what they're going to use in the next Cars movie. Who knows?
Oh, Lord.
So,
Do we need another Cars movie?
do we need anything that they make another of? I mean, let's be
I guess
honest.
probably not, but so a few observations though I wanted to mention about the concept art, the updated concept art. It does look like they're going to keep part of Rivers of America because you see, like, there's a little river flowing around basically from where the Lily Bell sits, which I wonder, are they going to leave it there just as like probably not, because it's not in the concept art. But the station you see in the bottom left corner of the concept art is still the Liberty Bell riverboat station. And you go all the way up the river and you go towards Tiana's, and that's still there. So it looks like they're going to leave a small section of river alongside of current Frontierland in front of like Country Bear Jamboree and Pecos Bills and all that, all the way around to where the riverboat is. And then they have like cascading waterfalls and some of these other things that are, a lot of people have said, and I agree, it looks a lot like Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland homage, a former Disneyland attraction. And then this Cars Radiator Springs Racers 2.0 is going to be built around it. And then there's supposed to be a secondary attraction that they haven't really said what it's going to be. So, which I'm assuming is going to be like a Mater's Junkyard type thing or something small like that. But I don't know. I don't think it looks terrible. And then obviously you can see, the bottom right is a very open path, which is, you see this little corner on the right beside Big Thunder that looks like where the entrance to Villains Land will be. So
Possibly.
this is setting up for building Villains Land, which obviously walking past Haunted Mansion is like on your way to Villains Land. It makes perfect sense to do it that way. So,
Right.
I don't know. I'm not super disappointed in this. I think it'll look cool and Disney will do it well. So, they're leaving a tiny bit of Rivers of America as like an homage to it. So, I think they're going to do it okay. Like, I'm not super upset about this because, again, how often do you actually get to go to Tom Sawyer Island? I love it, but I mean, I've been like 3 times in the last 6 years, because
it's been a minute
to get over there. So, there's a lot of memories there, but I'll have videos and pictures to remind myself of them. So I get why they're doing this. It's a giant chunk of land that not a lot of guests visit. So
Right.
that's why they're doing it to all these lands that they're replacing.
Speaking of things that not a lot of guests visit, Walt Disney World is offering steep discount on Tron Identity Program.
Big shock, yeah.
Yeah. I'd actually forgotten that this was a thing. That's how little I've, heard about it.
Right.
But for a limited time, you can take advantage of a special price of $50 per action figure. They originally were $89.99 starting on June the 3rd. The $50 price tag is a limited time discount, although an end date for the discount has not been announced. That's roughly 45%. Yeah. Note that no other discounts, such as an annual pass holder discount, apply to the Tron Identity Program. So,
yeah.
how did this work again? I'm trying to recall.
Well, there was
basically customizable merchandise, like you made a figure of yourself, kind of.
Yeah, that's one of them. And then the disc thing, you could change the color of your light cycle on the ride itself, which you almost never see anybody do that.
Yeah.
But it is a cool idea that you could change your light cycle to a different color. I've seen it a time or two. When you see the ride go by, you see, oh, there's like a purple one. Instead of all the other ones are blue, but that one's purple. Yeah.
So the Poly is getting a new main entrance once again.
Yes, which didn't they just do this not long ago? But
Well, I think this is they're actually getting a new entrance this time. We've seen the
like
sign out front
from the
change a couple of
road,
times. Right.
yeah,
So, I mean, so
they're moving it.
it looks like they're actually changing the entrance from the classic, that little hut that you find the
Oh
security
yeah.
guard in. Yeah, they're changing all that. So that will definitely be different.
But it's also, I think, too, they're moving the actual security gate entrance to,
Probably a little more centralized, maybe.
yeah, I think right around the center of it. So they are rerouting Floridian Way to, make it bigger. And also, like, because of the Magic Kingdom expansions, they've made that road further back. So I think probably partially because of that, I guess. They're doing
Could
that.
be, but I've noticed that there's like the way some of these roads go, it looks like they're making a roundabout, possibly.
It does look like that, yeah. That cuts through part of what is Magic Kingdom parking lot, or maybe the cast parking lot
Yeah.
there. It's hard to say exactly
Yeah.
what that is, but yeah, that's interesting.
Doesn't appear to interfere at all with the parking over at Pago Pago.
Right. I will say it is a dangerous intersection right there currently where they're going to put that roundabout or near that roundabout, because there's one where the through traffic is supposed to not stop, but the other two sides are. So
Hmm.
it's like, if you're not paying attention, it's like, it's not a 4-way or 3-way stop. It's a 2-way stop. And then one lane goes all the way through. So it's kind of a dangerous intersection right now. So
Much like what we just talked about Hollywood Studios not looking anything like its former self. In a lot of ways, Poly is
yeah, it's
not.
changed a lot.
It's looking nothing like its former self.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, there's certain things that are,
That are
you
better.
still get that vibe, right?
Well,
But yes, it has changed a lot over the years. Yeah.
okay, so there's also some land clearing and prep that's been going on for the Encanto attraction over at Animal Kingdom now, at least. So that's good to see that there's some things shaping up, so to speak.
Yeah, you see a lot like actual construction happening, it looks like, not
Yeah,
just, yeah, walls up for no reason. They're
right.
actually doing stuff.
So we're starting to
So,
see some true Earth being moved that they
yeah.
said was being moved a long time ago.
So what
So
year? Because I'm trying to think back to, it was probably around 2012 or so, 13, when
yeah.
stuff started. But it was years before that when all, like, New Fantasyland started 2008 or something. When was that? And none of that stuff fully opened until like 2013, 14, right? Am I wrong on that? Mine Train,
New
Star Wars Mine Train was
Fantasyland New Fantasyland was
late.
completely open by 13.
Yeah. But Mine Train was 14. And then you had Pandora, followed by Toy Story Land, followed by Galaxy's Edge. So I think we're on the cusp of the next one, right? The next. So we're in this, what, 2000, I'll say 10 to
Well,
the next boom of,
approximately 2 years from now, I mean, all these projects we've been talking about should be done by then, right? That's the idea, or near
which,
finishing.
I don't know about 2 years. You think the Encanto, didn't they give it like a 2020?
I thought it was 2027. I didn't think it was
Yeah.
2028.
But the guy, I remember when they announced that on stage, he was like, I hope so. Because that's a very ambitious opening
Time
date.
frame?
But even if it is,
I think that will be further along with it by the time this year is over than most people would think.
sure. But what about Monsters Inc.? Monsters Inc. probably won't be that long because a lot of the buildings are already there. They just got to repurpose them.
Mm,
Aside from the new coaster, which I
we'll
think they've
see.
already started construction on that building. But anyway,
Well, some of the stuff they've had an opportunity to start behind the scenes.
Backstage, yeah.
Yeah.
But then they haven't even closed Rivers of America yet, so how are they going to turn that around? And it's going to take like 5 years for them to open Piston Peak National Park.
Perhaps.
It's going to be at least like 2029 at the earliest, right? I would think. Probably 2030.
That might surprise you. Who knows?
Really? Disney in construction? Unless they hire Universal's Epic Universe team to.
Well, I was gonna
build all
say
this.
you got to remember we're back in like the full force
Maybe, yeah.
construction phase now, not the COVID one. So
True. That's a good point. Maybe. We'll see. It does seem like they are going at a pretty quick pace at trying to fill this up. So,
well, I mean, they've got it
Hopefully.
funded. So
it seems like they are well funded for once. So, but
So
it'll
I
be
think
a couple of years.
I feel like these projects you'll be surprised that they come along a little faster than some of the recent years ones.
Maybe.
But we'll see. Time will tell,
Perhaps.
as it always does.
The next question will be, what are the next underutilized areas that they'll focus on after these?
Or what are the new underutilized areas, because we have all these other new constructed areas,
Right.
creating other underutilized areas.
I can think of a few already that they should do something with, but
Really?
Play Pavilion for one, or the Wonders of Life, whatever you want to call it.
Well, yeah, there's nothing being done there. You're right. Nothing at the moment.
That's one underutilized area, but
Can you think of anything else?
Galaxy's Edge? No, just kidding. Probably the area where the stunt show is. Echo Lake might be another area to do something with. But who knows? Anyway, we'll see.
Not going to get rid of Gertie, right?
Maybe. Gertie was closed the whole time I was there. We tried to get ice cream, and it was closed all day.
Okay. She's not what she used to be.
Mm-mm.
All right. So I think we've had a jam-packed episode full of news, at least this week. So if you would like to find more, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, or excuse me, X, and Instagram. That is all at TWTM Podcast. We have a Spreadshirt store in which you can get your exclusive TWTM merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM Podcast. And we have a YouTube channel in which you can get these episodes as well as other videos. And where can you find that, Adam?
Our website, which is travelingwiththemouse.com. You can email us podcast@travelingwiththemouse.com. And there's links to all that and more, including the T Public store, where there's Team Skyliner, Team Monorail merch. So you can check it out there on our website.
So for Adam, my name is John. This has been Traveling with the Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip.
Bye. Our next trip
Our next trip
to Piston Peak National Park.